Do you wave your terrible towel when Renegade plays? Reach for a tasty cake when JJ shouts, "He scores!" Does the sound of an F1 engine make your heart race? Doing push-ups with a Nittany Lion after a TD? Then lend us an ear, and we will share the exhilaration of Steelers football, the excitement of Flyers hockey, the nail-biting finishes of F1, and the pride when we yell, "We are Penn State." Welcome to the SteelFlyers Show, the strangest combination of sports fandom since pineapple was put on pizza.
Floating down a lazy river, it's your host, SteelFlyers.
Thank you. That is the always delightful and lovely co-host, Ronies.
Lots of updates from the Flyers front office.
Steelers have completed OTAs and Mini-Camp with a lot of new faces.
And NHL Draft is just 8 days away.
How about that? And thank you all very much for tuning in, folks. We're so glad you joined us. We're so glad you're tuning in and listening and checking us out. Really appreciate that. All you have to do is go to SteelFlyers.com and check out all the latest and greatest from the SteelFlyers All Sports Network. Thank you very much for Spreaker and all of their great help in getting us out there to all the great podcasting platforms for you guys to listen to, like Google and Amazon and iHeart and all the other great platforms out there. So big thanks to Spreaker for all their help in getting us out there to you guys. So, what do you think? We've had a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah, we're kind of in the desert of sports right now, aren't we?
We are. And first of all, let's just go out there and say congratulations to the Las Vegas Golden Knights, who, in proceeding to win the Stanley Cup, have now earned the record of achieving the Stanley Cup the soonest from being an expansion team, taking that record away from the Philadelphia Flyers. Flyers were in the league 7 years, won a cup, and the Las Vegas Golden Knights were in 6 years and won a cup. So,
there you go.
Congratulations to the Vegas Golden Knights. Well now, lots of stuff's happened with the Flyers since last we've spoken. Huh?
That is true. It was, quite a while ago. I mean, it's like,
I mean, we had that, so the last time we spoke.
Yeah.
Right? We still had Chuck Fletcher.
No.
Yeah. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, the last time we spoke, it was Danny Briere as the interim GM.
Correct.
So they had just fired Chuck not too long after that.
No, we've talked more about it then. So.
Okay, so, but Danny Briere was listed as the interim GM the last time we spoke. And at the time, they didn't have a hockey ops, and a whole bunch of other things has transpired since then.
Okay.
Which Keith Jones was hired as president of hockey operations for the Philadelphia Flyers.
Right, but then still continue to cover the NBA and NHL finals as a broadcaster.
Right.
That was odd.
Little head scratcher on that one. Danny Briere then proceeds to silence the critics and unleash a blockbuster 3-team trade.
Is it final?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. A blockbuster 3-team trade with the LA Kings, the Columbus Blue Jackets, a first-round pick, 22nd overall, and Provorov eventually going to the Blue Jackets.
Yep.
Wow.
Were you impressed by that?
I was dutifully impressed by Danny Briere's first major thing that he had to do that was on the list of a lot of things that needed to be done.
Right.
Look, Lance Green and I talk on Hockey Writers Inc. Exclusively about the Philadelphia Flyers, as that's an exclusive Philadelphia Flyers podcast. And we talked exclusively about all the things that needed to happen with the Philadelphia Flyers as far as addition by subtraction, addition of draft picks and prospects, and subtraction of ugly contracts and players that need a fresh start elsewhere.
Right.
Okay?
Yeah.
And Provorov was one of the ones on the list.
Right.
Okay? And I was just impressed that Danny Briere was able to pull that off and garner a first-round, 22nd overall draft pick for Ivan Provorov.
Okay. You think that's good, I'm guessing.
Not to mention, Cal Peterson, a goalie. Now, we're going to eat some of that salary. That's 5-point-something mil a year for him.
Okay.
But somebody that could put pressure on Katahat if he stays, if Katahat stays. If he doesn't stay, he might go to be the number one guy, or he might push to be the number one guy, or they'll bury him down at the Phantoms.
Aren't they gonna? You think they're gonna trade him?
Or he could be fodder. Who knows, right? But he counts as $5.5 million on the books, right? Mm. So you got rid of Provorov's deal, but you sunk and had to eat some money from that, and then you also took on Cal Peterson. We also got Helge Grans.
Tell me about him.
Right-hand shot defenseman.
Okay.
Big guy, plays big. Was buried on LA Kings depth chart defenseman. Right? Right-hand shot defenseman. Boy, the Flyers could use a right-hand shot defenseman.
Yeah.
What do you know? Hey! Huh? What do you know? Huh? There's another guy too, and Sean Wheeler, I think his name is. Don't quote me on that. But there was another guy that we got as well too that was really a really good prospect that could be a good guy that could come up and fill some lines or fill some roles and take care of business. So I'm excited about getting the 22nd overall draft pick in this year's draft for the NHL draft for the Flyers, because that gives them 2 picks now in the first round.
Wow.
This is and we're going to talk about this a little later on with the NHL draft, but this draft is stupidly deep.
Yeah.
In players that the Flyers need. Centers, wingers, defensemen. Stupidly deep. Right? So they got the 7th overall pick, which what they got in the lottery, and then they're getting the 22nd overall pick from LA Kings and Columbus Blue Jackets trade of Provorov and all that whole mess.
Okay.
Okay? That, as far as I'm concerned, is the start. Because you can get a Chris Stahl and a Dracovic. You could get a Gabe Perreault and pick somebody.
Okay. But
right?
they will. They pick somebody. They're gonna.
No, but I mean, the list of people that they could pick at 7, right, would be Chris Stahl, Perreault. A lot of people are talking about Leonard, right, or Benson, right? I like Colby Barlow, right? Really like him, but my guys right here is Andrew Cristall or Gabe Perreault at number 7. And if either one of those are available at number 22, you pick that.
So he's going to do some meditating right now, some deep breathing.
Right. And then in the 3rd round, if you're available, Etienne Morin would be a home run of a pick for the Flyers.
Which means they absolutely won't pick him.
Exactly. But, also, the lady that was instrumental in getting Danny Briere his position is now stepping away from the team.
Really?
Yeah. She was one of the... I can't even...
So, actually, I have a question for you. So, Danny Briere, when Fletcher was general manager, was special advisor for hockey. There was one.
He was special advisor to the GM.
Okay. Because now there's 2 people that are named special advisor to hockey operations.
Right.
John LeClair.
Right.
And Patrick Sharp.
Right.
Why do we need them?
That's a good question. Look.
I just want to know what they do.
One of my all-time absolute favorite Flyers players is Johnny LeClair.
Okay.
He played on the Legion of Doom line with Lindros and Renberg.
Mm-hmm.
What? The man just set up shop in front of the office in a 3-point stance. His 2 legs and a stick.
Yeah, I got it.
Waiting there for the puck. Because almost 80% of his goals were greasy goals, right? He was standing there in front of the net, taking the pounding, getting beat on, right? But he was the one there to deflect in the shots and getting those perfect passes there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I love John LeClair as a player. And that's great. And I really liked Keith Jones as a player. And I really liked Danny Briere as a player.
Okay.
Right? And Patrick Sharp, I mean, he played 1 year for the Flyers. All right. So, here's my question.
Mm-hmm.
Keith Jones was a broadcaster.
Yep.
Right? Danny Briere has a lot of education from some of the best schools in the country for business and finance and blah, blah, blah. Cool. And Patrick Sharp was the voice of the Blackhawks.
Okay.
And Johnny LeClair was an assistant coach on some team somewhere.
Okay.
Maybe years ago or something, or
I don't know.
All right. Does any of that stuff scream experience or know how to take care of a rebuild or?
Yeah, no, not to me.
I mean, it can't be me, right?
Right.
I mean, look, like I said, loved all these guys as players, man. Some of my most favorite all-time players, okay? And frankly, Johnny LeClair was one of the guys that helped win me over to being a Flyers fan, along with Lindros and some of the other players. But you would think that maybe ownership would go, hey, we're in the middle of a rebuild here. Maybe we should bring in somebody that maybe has a little bit of experience in hockey operations and or trades and or whatever.
Right. That would have been some logic, don't you think?
I mean, okay. Valerie Camella was the lady that stepped away from the Flyers.
Oh, okay.
She was the one that was instrumental in getting Danny Briere into the school, the business school that he went to, and all that other stuff. And she was the one that pushed him to get to where he is. And so great, cool.
Great. So she's done. So she's
stepping away, right? She was part of the Fletcher regime and the whole Dave Scott thing and whatever. So all right, I can understand that to an extent, but I don't understand the whole John LeClair, Patrick Sharp, Keith Jones, Danny Briere thing. Okay. So far, Danny Briere has done well in his first shot or first bite at the apple. And he has put the NHL on notice that certain players from the Flyers might just be available.
I've heard there's a rumor about Hayes.
There's been rumors swirling around Hayes, Carter Hart, D'Angelo, you name it. Pick a guy.
I think I heard Lawton, too.
Right. Scott Lawton. I mean, Travis Konechny. Everybody's name is on the block. It just has to be that way. Because, now, and I agree with Lance, you got to leave some meat on the bone. Because you got Couturier coming back, quote unquote, hopefully. Cam Atkinson coming back, quote, hopefully. Right? All right.
Let's see.
There's some meat on the bone for you. But for the most part, it's going to have to be young guys and up-and-comers because you need some draft picks next year because next year's draft is going to be not quite the Connor Bedard, Adam Fantilli, Leo Carlsson type draft, but it'll be darn tootin' close.
Right.
Okay. So, it's going to be quite interesting to see what Flyers do here, especially with the draft coming up here directly.
So, who's going to win tonight for the Calder Cup?
It's not tonight, it's Wednesday night.
Oh, I'm sorry, that
was
tonight.
That's Game 7 for the Calder Cup. Hershey Bears are facing off against Kachuka, or however you say that name. Right?
Yep.
California team, right?
I believe so.
So, yeah, it's Game 7, right? So, there you go.
Go Bears!
Sure. All right. Go Bears.
I think it's Coachella Valley.
That's it, Coachella Valley. Yeah, I was close.
I thought I was, but I...
No. I was close. So, that's what's going on with the Flyers. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Steelers. And one of the things I want to say, first off, is impressive with what the draft was able to bring to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, Omar Khan has just, as far as concerned,
yeah,
hit it out of the park when it comes to the draft.
Okay.
Right? It's impressive with what he's done as far as that's concerned. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This guy has clearly not sat on his laurels, okay?
Yep.
Throughout the entire time since March. He has definitely not sat on his laurels.
All right.
Okay? With making a lot of free agent moves and bringing a lot of different folks in here to try and see what kind of team the Pittsburgh Steelers can put together on the field this coming season. And I have to tell you, I'm really liking Robinson, the second addition, as a wide receiver. I'm really liking that. Okay? There's just some other things that I really like with what he's putting together here. And look, everybody looks good in shorts and shells, right? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's all the thing, right? But the draft picks look good, okay? And the team is... I'm... Okay. As... How do we want to put this? As not as good as the team was last year, I think that there's definitely going to be a improvement for this year.
I hope so.
One of the things I think that we're going to see that we should have seen last year was Kenny Pickett being the number one man from jump.
Right, exactly.
Okay? And so that, I think, is what I'm really looking forward to, as him being the man, being the leader, that, you know, or you understand what I'm saying here, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm looking forward to the most.
So, Mike Tomlin said about, because we're talking about the draft picks, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He said this about Joey Porter Jr. and Corey Trice Jr. You know, they're sharp guys, the type of institutions they went to, the caliber of ball they played. It wasn't much that we introduced to them schematically that they had already been exposed to.
Right.
So it's good that it sounds like it'll be an easy transition from college to the NFL for them.
Well, they picked from schools that basically play a pro-type style of game.
Right.
Big Ten, SEC, those schools predominantly play a pro-style type of offense/defense. You know what I mean?
Right.
So those players tend to be more ready. The Alabamas, the Georgias, the Penn States, the Ohio States, the
right.
Michigans. I mean, you know, those are the kinds of schools that run pro
Well, I'm just saying that it supports your that Owen is really looking at the right things. Like, he's picking the people that are going to be ready to go, that are...
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Picking them guys, boy. How about that? Look, I'm not going to sit here and say that Kevin Gilbride wasn't a good GM for the Steelers. I mean, the guy has some folks in the Hall of Fame now that he's drafted. And he's going to get probably a couple more.
Well, Ben was drafted, right?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, he's got... I'm trying to think if he... Yeah, he drafted Troy.
Okay.
Yeah, he's been there. He was there throughout almost the entire Cowher era.
Okay.
And all of Tomlin.
Shows what a good scout can do.
Right, but I mean, he's been the GM for that long of a time.
I'm kidding.
25 years,
kidding.
I think he was the GM of the Steelers. So, I mean, the guy's going to have some Hall of Fame picks that are... There are some picks that are going to make it in the Hall of Fame. And you know, Troy Polamalu is definitely a perfect example of one. Alan Faneca is another perfect example of one. You know what I'm saying? Ben Roethlisberger is going to be another perfect example of one. No, he didn't draft Jerome Bettis. Nope, sorry. But he hoped to trade for him. Anyway. So, I'm not even cautiously optimistic this year.
I'm very cautiously because a lot's going to depend on Kenny Pickett really doing what he needs to do, really stepping up into that leadership role. And I've seen some things that have shown that maybe he can, but I don't know. We'll see.
My biggest issue and concern is going to be that of a certain offensive coordinator. Because you have now run out of excuses, buddy.
This is it.
This is it, right? It's got to be put up or shut up. It's all out on the line. Okay? Quite frankly, if we ain't winning games by halfway through the year, your butt should be canned. Because I've seen enough of the Matt Canada show now, thanks. Now, if the guy's able to start putting it together, and look, I understand that continuity of having an offensive coordinator and a freshly drafted quarterback and a whole bunch of new receivers and offensive folks. I get it. But you've got some talented guys you brought in. You have some talented draft picks now that you have. You should be able to put together a team that is going to surprise the league with all of your jet sweeps, motions, and everything else, and actually have them mean something when you do it, so that when you do it, the other team's players follow that player. Because if they're not following that player, they know what's coming.
Yeah.
Okay. So, gonna be an interesting year. Be sure to check out 5-Star Matchup, because I'm sure that we'll be on, or how shall I say it, en fuego? Yes, I think we'll be en fuego this year.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, I'm thinking too. Well, no matter how it goes. Up, down, left, right, sideways, I think we'll be en fuego all day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully it'll be good on
that part, right?
Yes, not bad.
Right. Good on that part, but not bad, right?
Yeah.
But really, I'm excited to see how this team takes care of things this year. For the first time in a while, they open up at home.
That's been a long time.
Yeah. So, and they got their bye week like at week 6.
That's early.
Well, that's all right. That's all right. I'll take week 6. I mean, you prefer to have it more closer to the middle.
Or to the end, but...
Well, 8 or 9 or toward the end, yeah, okay. Well, well, they stop the bye weeks after a certain couple of weeks. So
okay.
The last few weeks of the season, there's nobody on bye week.
No, but I mean, to have, like, the last bye week would be nice.
Oh, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, right. Okay, I'm with you. Okay.
Or maybe you need that break early on. Who knows?
Like I said, it all depends. Sometimes it'll work out better for you to have it early. Sometimes it works out better to have it late. For the Steelers, it's usually not benefited them whenever they had it. So hopefully this will be a benefit. You know what I mean? So, I mean, what else can you say, right?
Right.
However, I am not cautiously optimistic. I'm basically laying it out on the line. If the Steelers do not have a playoff berth this year, I think heads need to roll.
So this might be the last time they get to prove themselves, huh?
At least as far as coaching staff is concerned.
Okay.
Because quite frankly, I've seen enough of this show. Okay?
Yep.
I don't know what's going on or what's happening here, but either your message is not reaching home or the systems you guys have are not matching up with the players that you guys have, or until I start seeing playoff wins and stuff like that, man, you know what?
Right.
Okay, so how soon? Right?
Well,
what have you done for me lately?
You know, we're getting close. We're going to see. Hopefully the first couple of games will be indicate how the rest of the season is going to go.
Well, yeah, that's usually how it goes.
You know what I mean?
Uh-huh. So, but, you know, it's just one of those things where... Okay.
I mean, you know, we don't know. It's going to be an interesting season, let's put it that way. Especially now that the Ravens are not expected to be doing really well, but we do have the Bengals, so...
And whatever's going on in Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't even try.
Like I said, whatever's going on in Cleveland, I don't know. I don't even try to guess or understand. And frankly, I've seen some things that, you know, in Cincinnati, and I've seen some things that, you know, okay, they you know.
We'll see.
We'll see. You know, it's one of those things. I clearly think that if Mahomes was not hobbled in the Super Bowl, that game would have been way out of reach.
Yeah.
For Cincinnati, I think that was the only thing that kept them in was the fact...
They still lost, so...
But that was the only thing that really kept them around was the fact that Mahomes really couldn't do much.
Oh, I see. So you're saying it wasn't like a blowout like the 85 Bears Super Bowl?
Yeah, 46-10. Okay, that was bad.
Sorry.
That's all right. That's all right. We'll let that one go. Okay. So, but... Yeah, it's not an optimism with Pittsburgh. It's, look, this is what needs to happen, and if y'all don't do it, stuff needs to happen.
Right.
Right? And what I mean by stuff, I think y'all know what I'm talking about. That means the caca's hitting the fan and heads need to be rolling. And what I mean by heads need to be rolling, I mean like coaching heads.
Yes, we got it.
All right, just.
I mean, it couldn't have been more clear than a rainbow on a rainy day. I don't know.
That was really good. I liked that. Clearer than a rainbow on a rainy day.
They're not necessarily always clear, but.
Yeah, but a rainbow? That's perfect.
All right.
No, because that's the whole symbol of God saying, you know what I mean?
Right.
Right. So, all right. I like that. Okay. Anyway, I think there's going to be potentially a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow here.
There you go.
For the Steelers.
Nice.
Did you like
nice
that?
Transition.
Did you like that?
Uh-huh.
If they play their cards right. All right. Anyway. What can I say? Okay. Now... I want to talk about something that's going to be really, really exciting. And that is the fact that the NHL Draft is a mere 8 days away.
8 days, 42 seconds, 30 minutes.
No. It's set to kick off at 8 p.m. On the 28th.
Okay.
Okay. And we all understand and realize that there's a consensus of number one, but Chicago Blackhawks have the number one pick, followed by the Anaheim Ducks have the number 2 overall pick. And for the most part, there is a consensus number 1.
Yeah.
And a consensus number 2.
Right.
Unlike other years where there was a guy that could have gone 1 or 2, or, like...
No, it's determined. It was determined a couple of years ago, I think. Well, he's going to be up for draft on this day. We're going to be ready.
Well, here's the other thing, though, too, okay, right? So, when you look at Connor Bedard, he is the consensus number 1 overall pick that is projected to go to the Chicago Blackhawks with the number 1 overall pick in this year's draft. Is a really good player. He's a generational talent type of guy. I mean, his numbers are comparative to other certain type players like Connor McDavid. Do you know what I mean?
Okay, but you got to have the team to support it, though, so...
Okay, but clearly McDavid doesn't need the team around him. He pretty much can just score 60 goals himself. And
that's true.
Okay, so you get what I'm saying, right? But that has been the key with Bedard, is that he has had teams around him. And next, so there's just going to be, I think he's at that level of talent, but he's had really good talent around him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's going to be interesting to see what happens with the number 1 pick if the Chicago Blackhawks pick Bedard. If they don't, they may take Adam Fantilli, who was another amazing talent this year, who played for Michigan. The kid just is at that same level. Okay. And he's bigger a little bit than Bedard. Bedard's only like 5'10", maybe. Right? So that's the other knock that might, drop him to 2 or 3.
Do you think he'll absolutely get drafted? Like, there's no chance he won't get drafted.
Correct. He will be drafted. But he will be drafted, guaranteed, in the top 5.
Okay.
Because I think he will more than likely play next season.
Yeah, that's kind of
or the upcoming NHL season.
Yeah.
He'll more than likely play. He doesn't really have anything else to prove anymore.
Okay.
In the juniors. He really doesn't. You know what I mean? Gold medal with juniors and all that. So, I mean, he doesn't really need to prove anything. You know what I'm saying? So, all right. It's just going to be quite the flow, I think, with this year's draft as far as that's concerned. We got Chicago and then Anaheim number 2. And then the Blue Jackets have the 3rd overall pick.
Wow.
And then San Jose, Montreal, Arizona, and then Philadelphia has the 7th overall pick.
That's still a bad pick.
No.
It's not like the first, but it's still pretty high up in the...
It's not even as high as what we got last year with Cutter Gauthier for the Flyers.
Okay.
But Philadelphia picking number 7th, and I'm here to tell you, if this young man here is on the board at that particular spot, he should absolutely be picked. by the Flyers, and I'm talking about Andrew Cristall.
Yeah, we heard.
If not him, Gabe Perreault.
Okay.
Both of these, I actually look of the top centers and the top wingers in this year's draft, right? Of the top 10, the top 5 of each one of those positions. Any one of these names, Bedard, Fantilli, Will Smith, Ryan Leonard, Braden Yeager. I'll even add an extra couple of them in there too. Cristall, Gabe Perreault, Zach Benson, Matthew Wood, Colby Barlow, Leo Carlson, and or if you want to, throw a Lucas Dragovic or a David Reinbacher in there if you want, as far as that's concerned. So that's 11 guys in the top. So the Flyers are going to get a really good player at the 7th pick.
Right. Unfortunately, are they going to do what they always do? Take that player that has a lot of potential, completely miss their potential and helping them build that up, trade him to another team, and then he wins a Stanley Cup.
With another team. Right. So I'm hoping and praying that because of the whole new front office regime and the whole new shakeup in the front office with the hockey operations general man and the like, that the quote-unquote, like they're saying, it's a new era of orange. Okay.
Speaking of a new era of orange, what do you think of the new jerseys?
I like them.
Yeah?
I really like that burnt orange. Because to me, that was the original colors.
Okay.
Was the burnt orange. Right?
Gotcha.
And so I'm always down with the original colors. The only thing that I don't like is the sponsorship logo on the jersey.
Right. But
where it is.
Right.
Really? It's not bad enough you can't have it on the helmet. Or you could put it down the side of the pant or at the bottom of the pant or
what good is that going to do him? That's the business, man.
Last year was the first time they allowed sponsorships on the jerseys and or everything else, and I just think it's wrong. Because if you look at those IIHF jerseys, you can't even tell what team they are. Right? Because of all the sponsorships on the jerseys and everything. You can't even tell what team they are practically.
Okay, but it help them be able to be existing. Do you know what I mean? I'm just playing the devil's advocate here. I hate the sponsorships too. I mean the ads all over the players.
Right.
But
I do not look at the player as a walking billboard. Although, and I'm also going to say this too, and I'm going to go out here and say this too. NHL, I hope you're listening. But the whole rotating, virtual, sideboard advertising and on-ice advertising sucks. It is so utterly distracting that it takes away from the game.
You're not the first person to say that.
I don't get it. Look, if you want to rotate it like every period or between every commercial break.
Like when there's a timeout or a stop and play, then you move it.
Right! That's what I mean.
Don't do it during the game.
Exactly.
I have a hard enough time following that puck.
There is one thing I do like.
What?
That TNT did.
What's that?
Was put the time of the power play at the top of the slot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
But it's not intrusive. It's a little circle right in the middle of the slot area.
Right.
Right at the top of the circle and right below the blue line. It's right in that middle area there where there's nothing there.
Right.
And hey, you can see. And it's, most of the players are on the ends and in the middle.
Right.
So there's nobody usually there. Hey, are you listening to NHL? Okay, right. Take away that stuff, man, because that's you might as well just put like a display screen on the goalie's forehead that flashes the next The next commercial is on the goalie's forehead, right?
Okay.
A big screen. They don't have helmets anymore now. They're just big screens.
And they would have, like the most obnoxious ads playing while the other team was coming close. Like he could have a little button that he could push to make a change.
Dietz and Watson hot dogs.
Don't make fun of anybody.
But you get what I'm saying. Though.
I know I get it. But sorry, you put that image in my head now. It's stuck there.
But that's what I'm talking about, though. It's like, really? Can you please just stop? Really? Change them during the commercial breaks or change them in between periods. I think it's a great idea. I think it's awesome technology. They look great. The fact that you can have them animated and all that other stuff, that's all freaking great, man. But play that for the crowds during the, TV timeout.
Yeah.
Okay? And then leave the static ones while we're watching the game. Because I'm watching the ice go this way, but yet I'm watching an Enterprise car commercial go that way.
Right.
And I'm like, wait a minute. The puck's going that way, but the commercial's going that way.
And it draws your eye.
Now I just missed the play. Well, that's kind of a detriment if you're trying to report on the game and all you see is this distracting...
I know. You're preaching, honey. Preaching to the choir.
Anyway.
Convert the zealot. I mean, come on.
What can I say? Crazy.
I'm sorry, I got you off topic of the draft, but we got 8 days.
8 days. It's going to be quite the amazing draft. There's quite an amazing crop of players all up and down, from goaltenders to defensemen to wingers to centers. All day long, going to be some great players selected in this year's draft. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited to hopefully see some of it. We might have to record it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just think that it's been a wonderful. Awesome pleasure to be back and talking with everybody. And Ronice, it's been wonderful sitting here. We didn't really write a show. We just kind of went off the cuff, and I thought it was really well done.
Yeah, we made some good points.
And I think we made a lot of good points. And so we would like to thank you all for checking us out and for joining us. And we would also like to say, please go to SteelFlyers.com. Check out all the great stuff from Prospect Watch to Hockey Writers Inc., all the great articles from the editor-in-chief, Lance Green. And be sure to check out the SteelFlyers Podcast as well, too, on the SteelFlyers.com website. Be sure to check that out. Also, you can follow us on YouTube. We got a page there on YouTube, also Facebook and Instagram as well. You can follow us there. I'm SteelFlyers, your host. Thank you, Ronice.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Always an absolute and wonderful pleasure. You can find me on Twitter at SteelFlyers52, and you can find all the great stuff that we do at the SteelFlyers All Sports Network at SteelFlyers.com. Thank you very much for watching or listening, and we'll check you out on the next one. Just remember, folks, stay safe, stay strong, and hang tough.